Hey guys, I hope you're well. I'm editing the video that you're watching right now, which is part 2 of my NFED antenna series. This part is going to cover tuning with SWR graphs, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. A recent video, which I removed, was about my Potensic Atom Punch the Clouds video. Man, that was the most amazing drone experience I've ever had. And the video I thought was spectacular. You guys beg to differ because nobody watched it. Well, 35 people watched it maybe. And it's understandable. It's not a ham radio thing. Yeah. But my last video that I posted yesterday, that is a ham radio thing. That's an NFED halfwave video. Specifically the installation of my new antenna. And it has set an all-time low viewership rating. It's completely tanked. The worst performing video I've ever made. And it mystifies me as to why. Something happened. You know how sometimes when you get a sneaky feeling, usually that sneaky feeling's justified. Well, I kind of get that feeling about my channel. Kind of feels like something happened. And it is what it is. It's fine. Might just be that the channel has grown a little long in the tooth and served its useful purpose. Its purpose? Silly ham radio entertainment mixed with a little bit of useful knowledge. And so, what to do? I almost didn't finish this NFED. I almost posted the thumb with the words canceled due to lack of interest across the thumb. I almost did. But I figured I better finish the project I started and finish this two-part video series. So, where do I go from here? I don't know. I was going to do my power supply comparison video and talk about the technical reasons why I chose this pyramid linear supply over the MFJ or the Astron, but I don't know. I'll talk to you later. You take care now. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. I wanted to talk about tuning this wire, okay? Just how I went about doing it and my results. And, okay, this whole mess on the left is there for only one reason. This. I removed 1 foot, okay? The rest is just gibberish. I'm going to get rid of this sheet. Remember, I removed 1 foot here. Okay, hang on. Okay, when I installed this antenna, I intentionally made it too long. I made it 132 feet too long, 132 feet long. At the time, I was calculating that it should be 122 feet once it's tuned, and so that meant that I added an extra 10 feet on, okay? And I'm glad I did. So, I knew the resonant frequency would be really low. I was guessing about 3,400 kilohertz, okay? So then, let's look at the length, 132-foot long piece of wire. I figured I'd deduct 3 inches for the knots on each end. The knot on each end took at least 1.5 inches of wire. So I deducted 3 inches. This gives us 131 feet, 9 inches, okay? I checked the resonant frequency, and sure enough, it was just below the 80-meter band. My target at the time was 3.6 megahertz. And so, yep, ended up at 3.470, okay? Went back out, I removed another 2 feet of wire. So, I shouldn't say I removed another 2 feet of wire. I went out and I removed 2 feet of wire. rechecked the resonant frequency. It came up nicely, up to 3520. Okay, nice SWR. And right now, so we're working with a length of 129 feet, 9 inches. Okay, the resonant frequency is still too low. Went back out, and I knew I needed to take off a good chunk of wire this time. I knew this because, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Because I removed 2 feet of wire here, and the resonant frequency only changed 50 kilohertz, So I went out and took off 3 feet. Resonant frequency now, perfect, 3.6 megahertz. Wire length now is 126 feet, 6 inches. Okay? Remember, we got 3 feet, 2 feet, that's 5, and 3 inches. Okay? 126 feet, 6 inch long wire. Gave me a really nice standing wave ratio. But remember that other sheet where I said I took off another foot, right? So 126 feet 6, removed 1 more foot, final length 125 feet 6 inches. That's the final length of that wire out there. I mainly wanted to use this antenna for the 40 meter band. I really don't use 80 meters too much. I really don't. Maybe a little tiny bit in the CW portion of the band, but the phone portions of 80 meters, that's a playground I don't belong in. Those are, that's the kilowatt crew up there, Excuse me. So I wanted to use this antenna mainly for 40 meters. I dearly love the 40 meter band, and I had no antenna for 40. My Michigan cacti covers 20 through 6 meters. But on 20 meters, I wanted, it's nice to have another antenna, a couple of them, to compare with, you know what I mean? For example, on 20 meters, sometimes my Michigan cacti blows this antenna away, and conversely, sometimes this NFED blows the Michigan cacti vertical away. Okay? But on 80 meters, now I ended up with a resonant frequency of 3687. Now on 80, I'd rather work CW. I needed to lower the resonant frequency. So just like I used to do when my shack was in the utility room, one moment. Just like back then, I added a couple clip leads onto the end of the wire for an extension, and that brought the resonant frequency down nicely, down real nicely, right into the CW portion of the band, right? This antenna, though, is very narrow banded on 80 meters, as you'll see when I show you the SWR curves. Okay, but look at the SWR on 80 meters. That's great, just great. On 40, oh, and by the way, that's using tap number 10 plus 2 clip leads, as I said. And the Yenon is my one with the variable cap. On 40, I unmeshed the variable cap. I used tap number 5, removed the clip leads that are only for 80, right? SWR, about 1.3 to 1 across the band, or less. And that's great. 20 meters, I won't use it on 20 as much, but it's nice to have, especially when working stations closer into home, They both, 40 and 20, both use tap number 5, the difference being on 40, I unmesh the variable cap. On 20 meters, I fully mesh it. And oddly, I could not get a better match than this, about 1.7 to 1 to 1.8 to 1 on 20 meters. Right. Nothing I did could remedy that, but it's fine because my rig will output full power into that mismatch, and that's all I care about. If it outputs full power, I'm good. I don't care about feed line loss. SWR is meaningless. People take it to an illness. They take it to a sickness, and a sick extent. just last night, I was listening to a guy in the QSO, listening to several guys in the QSO, right? And one of them, his antenna had an SWR of 1.3 to 1, and he couldn't understand why, and it was really concerning him, and he was not happy with that. And he took off. He said, "I'll be back in a little bit." And he came back 10 minutes later, and he says, "There we go, 1 to 1. How do I sound now?" How do I sound now? You sound stupid. You sound like you wasted your time. I hope you... Oh, boy. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. I wanted to show you the SWR plots that I got with my new end-fed. And I'm going to show you the plots for 3 different bands, 80, 40, and 20 meters. Okay? And I'll be cutting to still shots. You won't have to look at my laptop screen the whole time. I'd like to mention, do these plots correlate to what I see on my rig? Well, yes and no. On a couple of the bands, they correlate very well. On one of the bands, however, being 20 meters, I get 2 different results. Mainly because, well, when I did this testing, I had the nano VNA connected to the Unan via a length of 25-foot length of coax, okay? And it had no ground, right? The nano VNA isn't grounded. The Unan isn't grounded. The system wasn't grounded. When I connect the antenna to the rig, though, now then you've got a power cable, the ground lead of my power cable to the rig. That forms a kind of a counterpoise. I've got a 30-meter dipole connected to the rig. I've got my Michigan cacti vertical connected to the rig with a fairly extensive ground system, radio system buried in the ground. So when I connect this end-fed to the rig, it's a different situation than I see with just the nano VNA. But that's the case only on 20 meters. 40 and 80 correlate very well. Okay, let's take a look now at the curve for, I got 20 meters, tap number 8. The capacitor, the variable cap, half meshed. You might note that the SWR is 1.41 to 1. Yeah, it's a little higher than that when I connect the antenna to the rig. Rises to about 1.7 or 8. So that's one difference when I connect it to the rig. And so the SWR, pretty good, 1.4 to 1. I could live with that for sure. And it's fairly flat across the band. Okay, let's take a look at the next picture. 40 meters, tap number 4. Now you can see that it's perfectly tuned for the CW portion of the band. SWR 1.03. Resonant frequency 7.054. Oh my God, that's perfect if you're a CW op. Just perfect. And so that's 40 meters, tap number 4. This 40 meters, tap number 5. Look what happened. Let's go back. 40 meters, tap number 4, tap number 5. Okay? The SWR rose from 1.03 to 1.35, but so did the resonant frequency. It rose right up to the middle of the band. And that's perfect. Okay? When I connect this antenna to the rig, the SWR drops even further. At resonance, it drops to almost 1 to 1. Next picture. 80 meters, tap number 10. What do you see? Well, the SWR is, once again, it's 1.41 to 1. And the resonant frequency, 3.66. I can't make that out with my poor vision and my poor camera resolution. It won't focus. SWR is acceptable. Resonant frequency, okay. This antenna is very narrow banded on 80 meters, as are most of them, but that's 80 meters tap 10. Watch. 80 meters tap 10 with a clip lead extension. 2 clip leads, right? Extending the end of the antenna at the end. Look what happened. The resonant frequency dropped right down to the CW portion of the band. Perfect. Just perfect for the CW portion of the band. SWR 1.33. And that's what I will be using this antenna for. I will not be doing any phone contacts on 80. I just won't. Man, that's a playground for big guns. You know. And I'm running 100 watts in an end fed. Sometimes I'm running 1 watt in an end fed. I don't belong at 80 meters, but in the CW portion of the band, that's fine. I'll be there. Let's look again. Let's back up. Let's look again. 80 meters, tap 10. No clip lead extension. Okay, again, 80 meters, tap 10. No clip leads. 80 meters, tap 10 with clip lead extension. That's perfect. I'll take it. And that's all we got. I hope you're well. I'll talk to you a little later, guys. Bye now.